Greetings, demons, and welcome to Collectibles. And I did recently look at all the Smart Play all-in-one sets and my general thoughts on those, and since then we have had a few reviews come out, so we have a bit more information on exactly, what the Smart Play system is going to be like, and yeah, we also have all of the Smart Play compatible sets, so we're going to go through all of these in set number order rather than the order that is on screen, because it is slightly different, I think. It might actually be the exact... No, it is slightly different. And, yeah, just kind of go through my thoughts on them initially as sets, because obviously these don't include any of these Smart Play items that you need to actually, have that function. It does include smart tags and smart figures, but we'll get into that as we get through. And, yeah, overall, just discuss the current state of Smart Play just before release. So, starting off with 75420, Smart Play Luke's Landspeeder, and yes, it's a Luke's Landspeeder. That's what I was trying to say. It's a Luke's Landspeeder. It has been a few years since, was the last one in 2021? Might have been 2019, actually, now I think about it. It doesn't really matter, but it has been a year or two, compared to usual, where it's like every year that we have a Luke's Landspeeder, and I don't hate this, just on first impression. It is 215 pieces for 35 Great British Pounds. Absolute rip-off. But, at this point, should I say, it's kind of expected. Unfortunately, you do get one smart minifigure being Luke, one smart tag, and you don't get the smart brick or any of the other stuff for Smart Play. But yeah, overall, just first impressions, just looking at it for what it is, this is pretty neat. You get Luke, you get a Jawa, which I believe is a new Jawa design. You get a Gonk Droid with a printed tile, pretty cool there. A little Jawa hut, and then the Landspeeder itself, which, yeah, I'm not sold on the colour. I know that has been such a debate over the years on, is the Landspeeder tan? Is it, like a sandy colour? Or is it a little bit more reddish? I tend to think it should be a little bit lighter than what LEGO is able to do here, but with the current colours, it shouldn't be this colour. It shouldn't be LEGO's tan, but it should be, maybe dark tan would work better. For me, I just don't like the sand red. It's just a personal preference thing, but immediately, I just want to point out Blue Milk, printed. It is back. It is going to be in this set, which is really cool to see. Obviously, we haven't seen that, I don't think, at all in a printed form since the polybag with Blue Milk Luke. So, pretty cool to see that. We've got printed elements for the engines, which is pretty nice. And, yeah, we'll get into some of the features with the little hut in a moment, I think. But, yeah, overall, first impressions just from this, not bad. It looks perfectly fine. Price notwithstanding, this is a perfectly good-looking set. There's more of the box and everything. Yeah, so our minifigure and our tile are Luke and the little Landspeeder tile, so you get the Landspeeder sound effects and stuff like that. And, yeah, from this angle, from front on, this is a fine Luke. It's the same sort of fanboy Luke that we've seen from, the Death Star and stuff. I don't think it's the exact same. I think there's a slight difference. I just don't know the difference between them. But, yeah, and then you do get your little Jawa, which looks great. As I say, I think that's a unique torso. It might be a new head as well. Obviously, it's just eyes and a black head, so it's nothing too special. But yeah, I do like my Jawas, and not bad at all. And the Gonk is excellent. We have seen a lot of interesting Gonk designs over the years, and this one is one of the stronger ones. It's a bit weird that, having the little bit of light grey there, as well as the lighter blue tile, which I believe that's part of the Smart Play function, so we'll talk about that if it shows it. But, yeah, overall, not bad at all, and, yeah, these two are definitely good figures. I do quite like these, say what you will about the Smart Fig Luke, but, yeah, the non-smart stuff, as much as this is not smart, is pretty fun. I quite like it, and I don't mind at all the inclusion here. It would be nice if it was an extra figure, maybe an R2 or C-3PO or Ben Kenobi, any of those would be nice, but, yeah, as is, it is fine. We are seeing a little bit of the Smart Play features of the actual Landspeeder here, so you can see that will, I guess, cause the engine noise? I'm not actually completely sure. I have seen a review of this one from M&R, but I'm not actually confident on what sound that creates, because red typically makes blaster sounds, from what we've seen. With this, I assume it's the engines. I'm not really sure otherwise. You got a little compartment in the back to store your little crate with blue milk, and that looks to be where you actually place the smart brick. You can just about see the smart tile there, which, fair enough. You do get Luke's lightsaber, which is nice. You get a little green hammer as well, which is for repairing the land speeder with a smart brick, and I guess we'll talk about it now. So, yeah, green hammer, that is for repairing stuff. So anything green makes repair noises with a smart brick, and anything blue, as you can see over here, is for fueling vehicles. And that is why it's the light blue tile on the top of the gonk droid, because you can actually use the gonk droid to fuel up the land speeder, which I think is pretty cool. Overall, like, the feature set here is pretty nice if you have a smart brick, which, bear in mind, no smart brick included. If you want the smart brick, you have to spend however much it is for... Is it Vader's TIE Advance, the cheaper one? I think it's Vader's TIE Advance. Is the cheapest all-in-one set. So the cheapest way to get the smart brick is Vader's TIE Advance. And, yeah, it's not ideal in that way, but honestly, like, this doesn't look bad. If it wasn't for the price being, double what it should be realistically, I wouldn't be complaining about this too much. Because, like, yeah, generally this is fine. Everyone realistically has a Farm Boy Luke at this point, and if you don't, there's plenty of them. I didn't even buy a set with Farm Boy Luke. I just bought Farm Boy Luke for like £2 or something on eBay. Not including shipping, it was like £5 total. But you know what I mean? Like, you can get a Farm Boy Luke if you really want one that isn't the Smart Play version. And overall, the set otherwise is fine if you can find it at a discount, which I think a lot of these Smart Play sets are probably going to go down to 50%, which is what it is. But yeah, you get a little bit of a view of, the Smart Brick goes in the back there. You got the repair, you've got the fueling, and then fueling with the actual gonk droid as well, and smart brick not included, of course. And yeah, overall, it's not bad. I don't mind it at all, really. Are they going to show the weird printing on the minifigure? I don't think they are. Oh, you can just about see the bin on the side on the back of the box. Okay. Okay, and yeah, we can see a little bit more of the information on the box here. So, add Smart Brick to play interactive, Smart Brick not included. So, they are at least making it pretty clear, which I can appreciate. They do have a little QR that you can scan to get information about that from, I assume, this website. But yeah, overall, like, price notwithstanding, because obviously this is so overpriced, I don't mind it. I quite like it. I don't actually own a Luke's Land Speeder. Not that I'm going to buy this one by any means, but... yeah, it is interesting. I have issues personally with the colours, but that isn't really an issue with the set. It's just, I disagree, I guess, on what colour the land speeder should be. Are the engines different on each side? Oh yeah, this one's like grey, whereas the other one's actually that same sand red colour. That's kind of cool, I guess. Because the engines aren't symmetrical on the actual in-universe model, so I guess it makes sense. Anyway, just a random thing there, but... yeah, interesting set. I don't really care too much for it, and having seen the review, I do know one of the sounds is the Luke is going to make, I forget what the actual song's called, but it's the Twin Suns music, the, like, big music piece that is played when he's looking at the Twin Suns. So that's pretty neat in and of itself, but otherwise, we have heard what the Smart Brick sounds like at this point, and it's garbled, and it's not very high quality. Everything is a little bit... people have been using the word Simlish to describe the way that characters speak, which I think is actually a bit mean to Simlish. I think it more sounds like... I don't even know what it would be, but in, like, classic cartoons, like I'm talking, like, early cartoons, you would have certain characters that would talk like... I don't really know what that's actually called, but in a lot of, like, classic, like, 30s cartoons, that would be a thing. And, yeah, that's what they sound like to me, which is a real shame, and it is seriously, like, I know I said in the last video that I was probably going to get the TIE Advance just to try it out, just to see what it was all about. After seeing the reviews and everything, I may still end up getting that set, but I'm no longer pre-ordering it. I was going to have that day one, and try it out and see exactly what was going on. As is, I really can't bring myself to do it, especially with the price. Everything in this wave, in this Smart Play collection, is too expensive, and we're going to see more of that a bit later on, but yeah, I'm just not sold, even though I don't think these builds are terrible. Like, some of them are worse than others, don't get me wrong, but this one is fine, and I like the Gonk Droid and the Jawa. I think they're pretty fun. Overall, it's okay. I just, the price really hurts it, and the fact that you're not getting, the Smart Brick, the thing integral to the Smart Play, it really hurts sets like this. But moving on to Smart Play Yoda's Hut and Jedi Training, set 75422. Once again, 440 pieces for 60 Great British Pounds. It is... it's not great. You do get 2 smart figures here, this time being a different version of Luke as was Yoda. You get 2 smart tags, and of course no smart brick. Interestingly, and we'll see this in a moment, not the smart version of R2. I mentioned that one in the last video. There is a new smart brick version, or compatible version, of R2-D2, but he's not in all the sets, which is kind of interesting. All the sets that include R2, should I say. So, kind of weird, but yeah. Once again, first impressions. We'll ignore the right side of this image for a second. The actual hut itself is pretty nice. It looks about as good as any of the playset versions of this hut we've had in the past, and while it's not exactly something that I'm, jumping at the opportunity to get my hands on, it is kind of neat. I do kind of like it, and yeah. Looking at the thing on the right, it's fine as a play feature, and a lot of people have been mocking this and, saying it is any number of things. Like, it looks like a Ferris wheel, or not Ferris wheel, that's probably the wrong term, but it looks like a carnival ride in any case and stuff. I do see that. Ryan, in his review, said that it looks like the Hands of Justice, or the Scales of Justice, whatever you want to call them, which I see that as well. I think the actual little boxes that you get are kind of interesting. They do remind me of Skywalker Saga, or even the complete saga before that. They do remind me of what you see in the video games, which is kind of fun. But, yeah, it's a bit weird. Though, from what I've seen, it's kind of fun even without the smart brick, and it's actually a little bit better without the smart brick, potentially. But yeah, it's just a little play feature. I don't hate it. It's just, it does nothing for me. I'm not interested in it, but I'm also not the target for this kind of play feature, so it's fair enough. Image of the box there. One non-smart minifigure, and it is seemingly the exact same Dirty R2, or whatever you want to Dagobah R2-D2, as we saw in the previous diorama set. I believe that was the last time we had a Dagobah set. I don't think we've had one since. And yeah, it's perfectly fine. You get the printing on both sides. It doesn't show you in this image, but I think there are going to be images that show it. But yeah, it is, a perfect version of this figure. Like, I can't argue with it. It is perfect. It is like exactly what you want for a Dagobah R2-D2. And yeah, as I say, it's just weird that it's not the Smart Play version, which gives a rotating head and a place for a smart tile. The fact that it's not that version, while, aesthetically it's better because the Smart Play version has a chunk bitten out of it, this one does lack compared to that because it doesn't have the head swivel. So, I don't know, it's a very weird figure to include in this, but yeah, it's the best version of this character in this, specific deco, so you can't complain too much, I guess. But yeah, with the Smart Play stuff, you get one food Smart Play tile, one, force using for Smart Play tile, I guess, and then you get the Dagobah Luke as well as Yoda. And Yoda's interesting because he has mid-legs, not short legs. He is the figure that created short legs. They created short legs for Yoda in 1999. And the fact that, he now has mid-legs is obviously because this torso element has to contain an NFC chip, and because of that, it has to have the regular waist piece. But yeah, surely they could have thought of a way around that. Even if they had to do, like, the keychain route and just make it so the legs were permanently bonded to the torso. Like, surely they could have done something like that. I don't know. Having him be more posable is nice, I guess. But it looks so weird because he's too tall now. Like, he is way too tall compared to previous versions of Yoda, and just, I don't know. It's weird to me. Otherwise, the actual torso print and the head and everything, it's as good as we've ever gotten. It's I think the exact same design as the previous appearance in the diorama set, and I think the same goes for Luke, though Luke doesn't have his backpack, I believe, but to me that's not the biggest deal in the world. I've never really liked the way the backpacks looked. Always nice to have them, don't get me wrong, but personally I'm not missing them, I guess. But yeah, once again, they'll have the little trash can and the little copyright information and stuff written on them, as well as the smart tag symbol, which I didn't mention with the other Luke, but yeah, smart tag symbol on the back. And yeah, we do actually get to see the copyright information on Yoda there. The actual, playability of the hut seems fine. You get a little fireplace with, a little brick to, fill in the gap where the smart brick would be. Little smoke piece, pretty nice. You get a little Dagobah spider, which Ralph McQuarrie art, I believe that's a reference to. Some like classic stuff. Yeah, overall, it's fine. It's not as good, I don't think, as the previous playset version. That one had a pretty nice interior, but there's nothing really wrong with it. I don't have an issue. Like, overall, this is a fine... Once again, this is a perfectly fine set. It just has all the added weight of needing to be a smart playset, and I don't know. It kind of bothers me, as well as the price, obviously. But yeah, you can include the smart brick for the cooking, which, whatever. You know, it is what it is, I guess. All the characters talk and stuff with each other. Do we get an image showing the smart brick in use with the weighing thing? Wait a second. Okay, they're showing that you should get the X-Wing for its smart brick so you can use it here. That is... Okay, I like that integration. I just don't like the fact that that means spending, like, what, £150, £160, something like that? That's ridiculous. But, yeah, once again, a smart brick play interactive. It's all the same stuff. I do like they have a place... Like, rather, they have, like, a little build to replace the smart brick when you don't have the smart brick on the fire. I don't like the look of it. It looks kind of weird to me, but, you know, if that's what it takes to, you know, cover it up, I guess that's what it takes. I don't hate this. The build looks fine. It's fine. It's alright. Yoda, I believe, also plays, like, a bit of music when you put him next to smart brick. I'm not really I don't remember which bit of music it is. It might be the, they're using the Force one, the one that when he pulls the X-Wing out of the swamp. That piece of music. Once again, I'm sorry, I just do not remember what the songs are called. But yeah, he also plays a bit of music and makes garbled noises and stuff like that. It is what it is. Yeah, it's a fine set. Once again, if it was half the price, well, not even half the price, because 405 pieces at £60 isn't as unbelievably steep. But yeah, if this was £45, ideally if this was £40, but like. Yeah, 60, too much. Too much for what we're getting here. Without the smart brick is my main thing. It's like, if these sets were not just compatible, but had the actual smart bricks included, perfect, great, cool. That's, you know, exactly what we want, really. It's like, and, you know, having low-cost sets that include the smart brick, that's fine. But, you know, £60, you don't get the smart brick. It does feel like a bit of a rip-off, but that is the Yoda's Hut and Jedi training. And that brings us to what was one of my most anticipated from this, mostly because I am a huge fan of Imperial armor. And when I mean that, I mean like the tanks, the vehicles, you know, ATSTs, AT-ATs, all the variants thereof. And yeah, this is an interesting one. This is 75424 Smart Play ATST Attack on Endor. And, I mean, let's just get... Well, I should quickly go over. 350 pieces, roughly, 347, for £45. This isn't terrible. In the grand scheme, compared to the previous two sets we've just looked at, this could be a lot worse. It includes one smart minifigure, 2 smart tags, no smart brick, obviously. It could be a worse price. This, like... Initial impressions, if this was 40, I'd be considering it personally. We'll get into exactly why I won't end up getting this regardless. But, yeah, first impressions, like, just looking at this image with that price and that piece count, I don't hate it, I just don't like it. I'm not going to spend this much, by any means. But, yeah. ATST, my beloved. I had a little ATST model kit as, like, a 4-year-old or something, and I adored that thing so much. It's a very, like, I love the ATST, but, yeah, it looks alright. It's a little bit short. Its head looks about the same size as any other ATST, which is kind of weird, despite the fact that its legs are shorter, but, yeah, it doesn't appear to have any clear points of articulation on the legs, though. I wonder if you just can't make it walk. Because everything seems to be axled in, rather than pinned. There's a few pins I can see, but like, I can't see any that are on their own. Which implies... I don't think you can articulate that at all. Maybe the head, because the head looks like it's on a rotation, but... Yeah, no articulation of the legs is kind of a shame. Even at this scale, like, they would have been able to do it. Even if it was just, like, rotation here... Which it doesn't look to have. It's hard to tell. It's difficult because of the placement of it all, but Yeah, I don't think there's leg articulation, which is a real shame. The speed bike looks okay. It's a little bulky, but I assume, yeah, it's supposed to have the smart brick there, which is what it is. I assume that's going to make a blaster sound effect. Kind of neat functionality, I suppose, even if it's not exactly a great design overall. I've seen worse. There are definitely worse speeder bike designs in LEGO Star Wars, but yeah, I'm not exactly sold on it. It's a little bit too bulky for me. I do get an Ewok, Scout Trooper, and a ATST driver, which all look like perfectly fine designs. I'm not too sure. Oh, wait, the only one is the Ewok? Okay, the Ewok is the only smart figure in this. And once again, it does have the mid legs rather than short legs, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so yeah, 2 standard figures. It's a shame about no dual molding on the ATST driver. The Scout Trooper looks as great as ever. Yeah, these are great figures. These are excellent versions of these figures. They could have dual molded legs for the ATST driver. I cannot say that for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with this. If this was like £10 cheaper, I wouldn't even be mentioning the legs. It's the fact that it's way too expensive and the minifigure could be better. That's my kind of point there. But yeah, honestly, good figures. I have both of these. I think I may not have this specific ATST driver variant, but yeah, it's not the one from the UCS set. I know that because that one does have dual modeled legs, I believe. But yeah, overall good figures there. And then for smart play stuff, you get the speeder bike, the ATST, and then the Ewok, which I think is Wicket. Sometimes I get that wrong on which one is which, but I believe that is Wicket, which is perfectly fine. And yeah, so we have not really anything being shown. You can open up the ATST. I'm not seeing any. There's obviously stud shooters on the ATST. Is there no like firing functionality on the speed bike, despite how bulky it is? Is there no stud shooters or anything? Yeah, the legs are definitely not posable. They are just stuck in that position. That is awful. That is such a downgrade as well. I think you can open up the sides. Oh no, because they're double ball jointed in. Triple ball jointed in. You can't open up the sides. You can only open up the top. The back's going to be open, isn't it? Just fully open, like, at all times for the smart brick. Oh boy, this thing is awful. Oh boy, okay. For the record, I have not seen anything on this one. At least as of recording this, I haven't seen like any reviews or anything for this one. So this is all fresh, and I'd say this was one that I was actually looking forward to. Well, it has the firing sound effects, I guess, when you have the smart brick. It's just open back. That shouldn't surprise me. We've seen the TIE Advance, but like, it's just open back. Oh no. Oh no, okay. So the top opens up to put the driver in, then just the back is open? Great, cool, okay. And you don't even get anything to do the repair sounds or anything. You only get the blast effects. You can't do repairs, you can't do fueling, you can only do blaster sounds. And that applies to the, yeah, because you don't have any elements in that colour as well, so that applies the same for the ridiculously oversized speeder bike. Oh boy. That is actually abysmal. Oh no, okay. £45 for a ATST with no posability, an open back head, an oversized, for no real reason, for no real benefit, speeder bike, and one smart brick, that's the Ewok. I don't like, this is bad. This may actually be the worst one. And I was saying, like, the price isn't actually terrible, but, like, you're missing the back of the head of the ATST. Like, they could have done it as, like, a panel, like a fold-away panel or something. Like, they could have done it in a way where it cleans up. And then no posability on the legs either. Like, where did the budget go on this? Like, 350 pieces isn't that many, I get it, but, like, where did the budget go? Where did the £45 budget go? Or, you know, €50? Or whatever it ends up being? Or it might end up being €40, because how the euro is. But, yeah, where did the money go on this? it's missing so many elements that have been in every other ATST, including ATST. Like, people like to joke about the 4 Plus ATST and the fact that that was like 30 quid. But, like, that had leg posability. That had a swiveling head that was complete. That also had a driver, a scout, an Ewok, and a bike, and had a tree. How is this worse than the 4 Plus ATST? I like the 4 Plus ATST. I've made that clear before, but, like, this is ridiculous. This is such a bad set. For no real reason. Like, every issue with this is something that they have proven they can do at a smaller scale than this. There are polybag builds of these two builds, of the Scout Bike and the ATST, that are better than this. The literal only saving grace is that the 2 Imperial minifigures are the best versions of those figures, bar the dual molded legs. Like, this is actually insulting. Maybe it will be good for kids, but I don't know. When I was a kid, I wanted my things to be complete, you know? I had a model kit of an ATST. Like, I loved that thing. I loved being able to just put, like, Matchbox figures into the cockpit and everything. Or, like, the collaboration Transformers figures in the cockpit and stuff. I had a Chewbacca. Like, I just put in head, like, it hurts more because it's just destroying something that I hold pretty dear to myself with the ATST, and as I say, they've done polybag builds. There was the Imperial Scout bike in the newspaper promotion polybags that, like, the Daily Mail did and the Daily Mirror did and stuff. Whereas, like, it was a stormtrooper on a Scout bike, and that Scout bike is better than this one. How have they done this? How have they messed it up this badly? That's just terrible. Moving on, we have 75425 Smart Play Mos Eisley Cantina. And once again, it's been a little while since I've seen a Mos Eisley Cantina. 666 pieces for $6,999. Honestly, fine. Yeah, perfectly good. Perfectly good price per piece. I don't mind that at all. It's a little bit more than I'd ideally want, but 70 quid for 666 pieces, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. 2 smart minifigures, 3 smart tags, and no smart brick. It's okay. However, we look at this and we compare it to the previous playset. I don't know where the parts are gone again. As I say, the dual price per piece is fine. I just don't necessarily think it lines up with the value of what we're seeing here, because first impressions of this one is pretty bad. Like, it doesn't look... It's very open plan, which I don't mind. But there's not really much space for things to do, for things to happen. Let's have a closer look at everything. So, yeah, so you've got Greedo, you've got some of the Biff, is it Biff? Is that the species? Musicians, you got Ben Kenobi, you got a Suntrooper with a clone pauldron on. They've given this they've given the Suntrooper a clone style pauldron. I mean, I know they're not doing fabric capes anymore and stuff, or, like, they're not doing this kind of stuff anymore, but, like, that just isn't for this figure. Like, the Stormtroopers have a completely different, like, it looks completely different. Why have they done? We'll get to that with the minifigures, I guess, but, yeah, you get a dewback as well. It's not the molded one, but, I mean, that would increase the price by about £70. Yeah, I don't mind this. It looks about the same as the Microfighter version, which I didn't like at the time, so that gives you my opinion on this. It's fine. I don't like it. I'd rather have the molded one, but, you know, for the sake of the price not skyrocketing, it's fine. I don't see anything over here with the smart bricks. You've got a door, which presumably can open and close. You've got a jukebox or a speaker system of some kind for your Biff. What? Okay, fine. As long as it plays the Cantina theme, I don't really mind. I haven't seen anything from this one either, to be fair. We've got a blender. We've got a little canteen. We've got the blue milk. Oh, that's kind of cool. We get the blue milk. And we actually get a glass of blue milk as well. That's kind of neat, actually. Hopefully those 2 pieces get onto pick a brick so I can actually get them, because I'm not buying this, that's for sure. Okay. Yeah, so the smart figures are Obi-Wan and Greedo. That's fair enough. We'll get into that in a second. So it folds away. Oh, no, it separates out. It unclips. So it's on a clip-based system. I don't know if that's better or worse. I mean, it is what it is. It's realistically, it's fine. I am noticing a distinct lack of the other guy in the chair. Why isn't there a Han? Even if it wasn't the smart figure, why is there just not a Han included? Like, I can accept not having a bartender, though I'd prefer that. Honestly, don't have the Sand Trooper, don't have this thing, and just give us a non-smart Han and a non-smart, I forget the guy's name, but the bartender anyway. Like, at least then you have, like, a complete scene. I know you're missing Luke, but just get Landspeeder at that point. And then at that point you just need, what? You need R2 and C-3PO, and then you've got the full, like, setup for those events, I guess? I don't know. Yeah, as it is, everything looks fine. I just don't like... There's not much space for characters, like, other than next to the gimmicks. Like, there isn't... And I'm using gimmicks in the bad way this time. Yeah, smart figure-wise, you get a dewback, you get a blender, and you get a microphone as the tiles, and you get Obi-Wan and Greedo, which look as good as ever. Obviously, they have the side printing with the garbage on it, but, yeah, and the back tag, but overall, that's okay. Non-smart figures, you get 2 perfect Biff musicians, which is perfectly fine. There's so many things that I'm concerned about with this. So, yeah, it's the Family Guy Stormtrooper. I actually quite like the design. I don't mind it. I know a lot of people have problems with that, but to me it's fine. He does have the clone pauldron in plain unprinted black. So, 2 issues with that. I know that the Commander has a black pauldron, so whatever. Typically, though, we're supposed to have orange pauldrons on our Sandtroopers. That is the normal design. I would have rather them do a massable orange pauldroned, Sandtrooper than the Captain or Commander, whoever he is. The fact it is the clone one is a problem because it just doesn't look correct. Like, it looks... To be fair, it works better with the helmet than it does with the clone helmet. I'll give him that. But, yeah, it's not right. It's supposed to cover his arm. Like, it's supposed to be a sand shield. That's the point of it. That is the in-universe reason they have them. Like, it's not like a ranking insignia like it kind of is for clone. I know it's not for some clones, but like a lot of the time it is like a rank thing. It isn't always supposed to be a rank thing for stormtroopers and sandtroopers and stuff. It is supposed to be useful. This just, it loses that. I know it gives you the arm pose ability, so I guess that's fine. But so did having the cloth one. So what was they seem to have solved the problem by causing more problems. I don't know. This stick is so dumb. It's difficult to actually visualize that thing without it being just a fishing rod or a spear. But this isn't it. This is not the electro staff or whatever it is, the proddy stick for making the dewback move. It's not right. I don't know. It's not what I do. I did get the classic dewback and Sandtrooper, and that one has just an antenna on a lightsaber hilt. I don't think that one's perfect either, but it looks better than this thing. The instruments are nice. I like that it uses the actual saxophone. It makes sense. Blaster, all good. Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm just not happy with this Sandtrooper, just at all. Okay, so you can have Greedo on the mic. Fair enough, I guess. Yeah, you take out the music box and replace it with a smart brick. Fair enough, okay. You can put the smart brick on the dewback. You do have a watering hole for the dewback. It's kind of cool. There is a mechanism here. Is that behind Greedo? So you can, like, launch Greedo out of his seat. That seems to be the case. I'm not actually completely sure. Oh, yeah, you see it in this one. So, yeah, there's seemingly a mechanism to fire Greedo out of his seat, and that's not a function, but, like, they're showing the dewback throwing the Sandtrooper off, and using the blender as well. Yeah, door opens and shuts. There's functionality, there's gimmicks, there's things here. But I don't really see where the value is in any of it, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any of the functionality like actually being enjoyable in the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm sure kids will like some of this stuff, but like, what was the age on this? 8+. I think that's actually the case for all the smart playsets. Is an 8-year-old enjoying this? I guess. It's just like, surely like just things rocking and things spinning and things just moving. Like, I don't know. Is that really what 8-year-olds want? Like, I think back to like the older versions of Mos Cantina, and like, I don't know. I feel like they had more engaging gimmickry. I don't know. This feels a little bit not baked, half baked. It feels a little bit half baked. I don't know. I'm not sold on this. This one might be okay actually. I might just be a bit jaded, but like, yeah, I'm not liking much of this. The dewback's okay, I guess. The actual building, the actual like walls of it all look fine. The bar looks okay. I say having the blue milk stuff is always fun. Is that a printed tile? Did we get a closer look at that? This one? Is that a printed tile? Oh, I forget that I have to double click everything. I think that is a printed tile. That's kind of nice, I guess. That could be useful for various things. There's a print as well with the food items. Interesting enough, I guess. I don't know. I wonder if the colours of things actually matter in terms of the smart play. I'm not actually sure about that. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Those colours are colours that like make it react, so maybe, but I'm not sure what exactly it'll do. But yeah, that's Mos Cantina. I don't know. I'm not. It's missing too much. It's missing too much. And I feel like some of the stuff it's done is done poorly. The door looks nice. The actual seating area for Greedo and Han, if it included Han, was good. The actual bar's nice. The blender thing seems redundant to me. It's just a reason to have the smart brick. The dewback is fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This all seems a bit forced to me. I'm not loving it personally, but yeah, it is what it is. The price is at least okay for this one. It doesn't include everything that I think it should, but like £70 for 666 pieces is fine. It's fine. It's okay compared to the other ones. This is like actually a bargain. And that finally leaves us with 75426 Smart Play Millennium Falcon. And I've seen a few people mention this. This should be the flagship. Like, this should be the set for Smart Play. Like, this should be, this is the most expensive compatible set, to be fair. But this probably should have just been a better set than what we're about to see. And be like an actual all-in-one set, That's what I think, and I've heard that parroted a few times on the internet already, but yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, 885 pieces, £90. Once again, actually pretty good. I think this is the best one then. I think it goes this than the Muscles of Cantina in terms of value. I get 4 smart minifigures, which, does that mean it's all 4 of these? Does that also mean there's no non-smart minifigures? That's kind of weird. But yeah, you get 4 smart tags as well, and of course no smart brick, but yeah, let's look into this. Right, first off, this is, to my understanding, only slightly bigger than the Starship Collection version, which is decently big, don't get me wrong. But yeah, this isn't that big of a set. For £90, it's probably okay, but it is a massive downside compared to every other previous version of a playset Millennium Falcon specifically. Obviously, it's bigger slightly than the previous, micro build versions, including the Starship Collection. But like, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's not quite there. I don't know. In terms of functionality, just off the bat, like, you have stud shooters. You see a lot of the functionality for how the smart play integrates. You get a green hammer, so you can do repairs, probably in hyperdrive, I'm assuming. It's okay. At first glance, this is undersized, it's a little bit chunky, and it's covered in very obvious play features. But it's okay. A minifigure selection is fine as well, I guess. Okay. So we do have a fully featured interior. We've got 3 seats, we've got the holo table, we've got lightsaber training, I think. I assume that's going to be the floating training orb. You've got like a bed sort of thing. You've got like a repair bay. Maybe this is supposed to be the hyperdrive. Something else here that's got a play function. And then a cockpit, obviously, as well. Pretty cool that it opens up this much. I don't think we've ever seen that from any previous... I'm trying to think. Do any of them open up in this way? Because obviously some of them have had fully featured interiors in terms of, like, they open up as panels. But, like, as just, like, 2 elements that open up. Is this the first one we've had that? Or actually, wait. There's only 1 panel here. Where's the other one? Does the other one just lift off? Oh, no, wait. Does this move forward? Okay, so this, like, moves forward and this one just folds out. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So far, like, this looks okay. This looks perfectly fine. Smart features, we have, the lightsaber, the engine, the hyperdrive, and the actual Millennium Falcon for, like, the cockpit or whatever. You get Chewbacca, which looks perfectly fine and actually will look perfect other than the sides of his torso. Han, which, if they're making a Han anyway, why not include in the cantina? But I guess so that you have to buy... Oh, boy. So, to get, like, a full Episode 4, like, setup, you need to buy the land speeder. Oh, boy. You have to buy the land speeder, Mos Eisley Cantina, and the Millennium Falcon. That gets you all of the the protagonists, except for Leia, I guess, who I guess just isn't in the Smart Play sets. Kind of weird. But yeah, that gets you all the protagonists other than Leia and I guess R2. So I guess now we need to also get the Smart Play all-in-one X-Wing. So that gets you a different Luke and it gets you R2. So that it gets you Smart Play R2 even. So there you go. You've got the full cast there. You can do all the scenes because you've now got a Han to go up against Greedo. You end up with 2 Lukes, 2 Farm Boy Lukes specifically, and then the X-Wing Luke as well. Oh, this is awful. This is like, you're going to be spending like over £200 just to have like all the characters that should be together. Like that. Oh, that's, and it's still missing Leia. It's still missing one of the characters. Printed orb, at least, for the training. That tile looks to be printed. Once again, I really hope I can get that one, just for my own purposes, because that's a really cool piece. So this engine module... Oh, wait, that's supposed to be the escape pod. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's Legends canon, and then Solo changed it. It's not an escape pod, is it? Because the escape pod was at the front. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I guess it is an engine block for repairing. I guess. I don't really know. You got the hyperdrive section there. Yeah, training is fine, I suppose. And then the cockpit, you can open that up and stuff. Overall, like, for playability, this looks alright. I do wonder, can you have the minifigures sat in there and close it up? I do wonder that. That is going to be something that I think it does kind of matter. You have lights from the smart brick on the back there for the hyperdrive. You can have shoot effects. That's not where the Millennium Falcon shoots from. It shoots from the top and the bottom. It doesn't shoot from the front. It doesn't really matter. That's not important, but like that's just a bit silly. Okay. Are we gonna see any other functionality? Yeah, there's no way. This doesn't close if there's minifigures inside. Sat down. Like, I understand not being stood up because obviously they're like the same height as the walls, but like you can't sit them down. Oh boy, that's not ideal. That is not ideal. Yeah, okay. Okay, at least it uses the full suite. You know, you have blue and green stuff, so you get both the engine fueling and the repair sounds. You do get some nice functionality of having both the lightsaber stuff and the actual flying. I don't hate this one. I think if you just took out the smart play stuff, this is actually pretty fun. Like, there's actually like a decent downsized Millennium Falcon. Like, I don't mind this at all if you take out all the smart play stuff and reduce the price by £5, £10, £10 ideally. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, the price is actually fine for what it is. Because how much is the Starship Collection one? Isn't that like 75 or 80? So like, this is slightly more and you get minifigures and you get a workable interior. Like, I don't hate this. This is actually one of the better sets for the compatible sets, at least. But yeah, I'm just... I think I was really put off by the ATST, and then the Cantina really didn't help that. And then, like, this one's probably the best one. If you're going to get any of these, just to have one, you should probably get the Dagobah set. But, like, this one's pretty good. Like, all things considered, I just don't understand why this is only a compatible set and not an all-in-one set. This should have been an all-in-one set, up the price, make the build a little bit better looking, up it to, like, 160. Make this the slot that the all-in-one Death Star duel takes up. Like, have this be the flagship set, with the smart brick, with all the features included, 160 quid, throw in Leia, throw in, I don't even know, throw in one other figure. It doesn't have to be a smart figure, just throw in another figure, throw in Ben, I guess. So yeah, throw in smart Ben, throw in smart Leia. You don't have to add any more smart tags, include the smart brick and the charger, and yeah, just pretty up the build a bit. Just make it a little, you know, up the pieces to, like, I don't know, 1,400 pieces with 2 extra figures. There you go, 160 quid. I would say that's acceptable. As is, it's fine, but, like, I wouldn't say this is worth it. You know, I wonder if those are printed tiles. I think they're the same as on the Starship Collection set. They look similar, at least. I do wonder that. But, yeah. I like the interior. I hope we do get, you know, once Smart Play is done and forgotten, I hope that they come back to this concept for a Millennium Falcon, because that's always been my issue with... I don't own a Millennium Falcon of any kind. I own, like, polybag ones, but that's it. Because, like, I want something more akin to, like, the Star Destroyer interiors. So it just opens up and you can just play in them. And you can just display your figures and you can close it on the minifigures. Like, you know, you can have the minifigures in there, stood, sat, laid down, whatever. But it's an all-in-one playset. I want a playset that is, like, all compact and kept together and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of the previous playsets have kind of lacked that. This one almost has it. It just loses a lot of points for it being a smart playset, unfortunately. Like, and especially knowing what these characters are going to sound like. You know, I haven't seen a review for this one. I know Ryan has done a review for this one. I just haven't watched it. Yeah, I'd hate to, like, hear what some of these characters... Like, imagine, like, as I say, it's such a garbled mess in terms of the sound quality that, like... And also, it's not Star Wars specific sounds other than the odd bits of Star Wars music that play. So, like, the blast, the shoot sound effects are just generic sci-fi stuff. The flying sound effects are just generic sci-fi stuff. You know, the fuel and engine repair stuff and, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's just generic sounds. Like, I really have to wonder, like, what does the lightsaber combat sound like? Is that, like, just, like, I don't know, katanas hitting each other? Like, or is it actually, like, laser swords? Does it actually sound like a lightsaber? Because... yeah, that is a real issue that I've seen so far, is that nothing really sounds like it should. And, I mean, even the Cantina band in the Masaza Cantina, I have seen a clip of it, actually. I know I said before I hadn't. But, it doesn't play the Cantina band song. Like, it doesn't play that song. It plays a different song when you use that functionality, and I just don't get it. I don't understand why you would do that. Like, it can play music. So why don't you play the actual music that scene is known for? I don't get it. That's my end point, really. I just don't get the point of these sets, and it's really unfortunate because, you know, in the last video, I kind of ended on a bit of a positive note of, you know, I'm going to get it, I'm going to try it, you know, I'm excited to hear what the sound's like. But, like, having heard what the sound is like before the release, I'm no longer interested in any of it. I think it is a real waste of everyone's time and money. And the fact that LEGO have spent so much money advertising it and stuff is kind of incredible, because it does feel like such an overall waste. But, yeah, I think on that note, that is really where I've got to leave it. So there we have it with all 5 Smart Play compatible sets. I have, of course, I've mentioned it a few times, done a video talking in a very similar way about all the all-in-one sets. So if you are interested in seeing that, feel free to check that out on my channel. I'll try and link that in the description below, that I do sometimes forget these things. And yeah, Smart Play, it's looking very questionable. I hope to try it. I hope to try it. Maybe there'll be at my local Lego store. Maybe there'll be some sort of demo, and I'll get to just see what it's like in person. But I really don't think, unless I can get an all-in-one set at a massive discount, I really don't think I'll be trying this. Or if they start selling the Smart Brick on its own, because if they sell the Smart Brick on its own, I might end up getting like the Millennium Falcon. I might get the Falcon and a Smart Brick. Make it £100. £10 for the Smart Brick and £90 for the Falcon. Maybe I'd consider it. But like, as it is, we've got a really disappointing set for me. We've got an okay set, which probably is actually a lot of fun, regardless of whether you have a Smart Brick or not. Then you have 3 sets that are just let down by being Smart Play sets, because they lack features or characters or other elements that we've had in previous versions of the same set at very similar price points. Or higher price points, fair enough, but like with considerably higher piece counts. So it's like, how much are you really sacrificing at a certain point? Or like, with like Luke's Land Speeder, we've had cheaper Luke's Land Speeders that are more feature rich. I don't know. Smart Play is interesting. I really want to know what it's going to look like at release in terms of like, is this going to be something that does sell out in LEGO stores? Is this something that like, are regular stores going to actually be selling these? Because like the online buzz has been negative almost entirely. Like, is the Entertainer and Smiths and Toyland and all these other ones, are they going to risk stocking these, or are they going to stock them in such limited amounts? Like, how quickly is this going to fail is really my question, because from everything I've seen, it's not looking great. But with that being said, that's going to be it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed this discussion and early preview sort of thing of all the sets. If you did, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Always couple of your thoughts and feelings on anything Smart Play related in this case. And I'll see you next time. Bye!